Following news of a Saudi journalist disappearance, this is Jamal Khashoggi, the Saudi journalist who self-exiled here to the United States and was a reporter at the Washington Post. A number of US senators spoke out, many of which believe that maybe we need to rethink our relationship with the Saudis if they're engaging in this type of behavior. One of those senators is Republican Lindsey Graham. Let's take a look at what he has to say.
He went into the embassy, he never came out. He gave his fiancée his phone. Most people would come out to get their phone back, talk to their fiancée, so this doesn't add up. How hard is this? Where is the guy? But this man was murdered in the Saudi consulate in Istanbul. That would cross every line of normality in the international community. If it did happen, they would be held to pay.
Okay, so we're the fairest show in America. Can't stand Lindsey Graham. He's a huge warmonger, let alone what he did in the Kavanaugh hearings. But that is right. But I'll give him further credit on this issue. He is a huge ally of Israel and Saudi Arabia. Lindsey Graham is historically. And so he's not speaking out, like if it was Iran, easy, layup. He's like, yes, let's go to war, right? But it's not. It's an ally of ours that he has helped conduct other wars. So he is actually being genuine there, and that's principled. So it's good to know. Let's see how long it lasts.
Right.
But we give credit where credit is due.
Exactly. And I also want to mention that there were qualifiers in his statements. If the Saudis did it, there's a lot of ifs, right?
But that's okay.
That's fine. Sure, it's okay. But remember, there's a lot of pressure on the US government right now in response to this story. And so it's very easy to initially say one thing and then not follow it with actual, with actions. And that's the one thing I'm kind of concerned with. Now, 22 senators so far have signed a letter to Donald Trump asking him to really look into this and rethink our relationship with Saudi Arabia. So that's a good first step. I'm just saying it's important for us to hold these senators' feet to the fire and not just feel appeased as soon as they say one thing.
No, I hear they're going to do order an FBI investigation of it, but only for a week, and then even less than a week, and they're going to talk to 9 people and then wrap it up. No, by the way, it's actually worse than that, kidding aside. They are asking the Saudis, the US government is asking the Saudis to investigate themselves. Well, I'm sure that'll solve it. But here, Graham speaking out, look, I said, look, if Israel and Saudi Arabia continue to be strong allies, I would be surprised if these senators didn't drop it within a week. But I'd be super happy to be wrong, and then I'll come out and tell you guys. And I'm not even wrong, like surprised by that, right? So I'm giving them credit for now, but of course we'll follow up.
Exactly. Now, Bob Corker, another Republican, spoke out as well, so I wanted to show you his reaction to all this. Take a look.
There's a tape of him going on. The intel points directly at them and them thinking about this in advance. I mean, I think they did it, and unfortunately, I think that he's deceased.
So that's strong words from Corker. I think they did it. And he might have seen intelligence that we haven't seen, so that does not look good. Look, if you're wondering why I keep mentioning Israel, because obviously the US government, both in Republican and Democratic times, say Israel is our strongest ally. I think Israel's an ally. I think it's important. I don't think it's our strongest ally. Canada, UK, etc., and often causes trouble. But I'm giving you in the context of Washington, there is no more important ally. And Israel and Saudi Arabia have been working together for a long, long time. So Israel, look at what happened with Netanyahu during the Obama years. He was against the policy of the United States government, Netanyahu was, and the Congress in a bipartisan standing ovation after standing ovation. If Netanyahu says back off and they don't back off, I'll give him all the credit in the world. So far we don't know where Israel stands on this particular issue. That's why we're saying hold a week. Let's see if they keep talking like this.
Exactly. And then I want to be clear that it's not just Republican senators that are speaking out. We have Democratic lawmakers as well. Chris Murphy is one of them. So just one quick video from Senator Murphy, and we'll talk about that as well. Take a look.
If Saudi Arabia took a US resident lured him into a consulate and killed him. It's time for the United States to rethink our military, political, and economic relationship with Saudi Arabia.
So again, strong words, and it's credit where credit is due.
One last guy, another guy I often criticize, Rand Paul. He was the first to jump out on this issue. I agree with him and say, look, Saudi Arabia's been doing this kind of nonsense for a long time, and there's no reason to back the wholesale slaughter in Yemen, let alone what happened to Khashoggi. So he's been leading on that issue. So give him credit on that. And it's a rare time that he actually lives up to his libertarian principles. And look, the reality is Saudi Arabia has been working against our interests for a long, long time, and a lot of times it's covered up. 15 out of the 19 hijackers were Saudis. Bin Laden was Saudi, but we decided to attack Afghanistan and Iraq instead. So that made no sense, and everybody covered it up. That's why I'm surprised this story is getting so much attention, because normally when Saudi Arabia does wrongdoing, which is almost all the time, the press doesn't care, the politicians don't care. There's something weird going on. That's why I keep mentioning Israel. I wonder if there's a rift in their alliance, and that's why all of a sudden when Saudi Arabia does something wrong, everybody's piling on. I don't know that at all. I'm just telling you, it's my analysis of the alliances in the area that are usually relevant. I mean, look, I'll give you one last example. The Saudis, excellent reporting in America that they funded the Sunni insurgency against us in Iraq. That kills thousands of our troops. Mm-hmm. Forget one Saudi citizen who's a Washington Post columnist, killed thousands of our troops, and the politicians were like, nope, Saudi Arabia's great. I don't know what you're talking about, right? So there's something weird about this story.
So this is just my guess. Like now we're just kind of sharing our theories and speculation, but I think that this has a lot to do with the current climate toward journalists in general, right? And also this was a Washington Post reporter living in the United States. I mean, I think that the press does have a lot more power than a lot of us realize, right? And so if they decide that this is a big story and they want to draw attention to it, then they're gonna do it. And I feel like the press has done a decent job covering this story. Whereas when it comes to other issues involving Saudi Arabia and its wrongdoings, the press might cover it in 1 or 2 stories and then they drop it.
Yeah, excellent point, Anna. And that might be the simple explanation. And so the Washington Post is all over it. They killed one of their columnists, right? And so number one, it affects them. But number two, they think, well, wait, if we let that stand,
exactly,
any one of us could walk into any consulate and get murdered, and then is the US gonna have our back or not? We got columnists, reporters, et cetera, all across the world. New York Times obviously feels the same way, and a lot of the press do. So yes, this might be driven by the press more than the politicians. Like, are you going to literally let them kill us? Mm-hmm. And so that's probably why it's getting all the attention that it's getting. But don't get me wrong, rightfully so. Yes. We cannot have our reporters walking into foreign embassies and getting dismembered. I know the world is unraveling and we've got a lot of dictators doing insane things, but for God's sake, we gotta draw the line somewhere. And if they're finally drawing the line on Saudi Arabia on this, fantastic. The TYT Plus app is now available on iOS and Android. Download to get more TYT content at tyt.com/app.